Last chance for the Steelers. Bradshaw trying to get away. And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Franco Harris has it. And he's over. What? Franco Harris grabbed the ball on a deflection. 5 seconds to go. He grabbed it with 5 seconds to go and scored.
Let's watch this again.
1 million to 1 odds on this one.
Ricochet out there off of Jack Tatum and into the Man of the Year, Franco Harris's hands.
Here's the miracle of all miracles.
From out of nowhere came Franco Harris, riding a white stallion, heading up Franco's Italian army, and galloping off into the sunset.
Okay, Franco Harris died last night at the age of 72. Jim Williams and Sean Miller here on a very solemn Wednesday. Sean, it was Franco Harris was legendary, and that play was iconic. And irony is, of course, the 50th anniversary of it is going to be replayed this week with the Steelers and the Raiders, and Franco Harris was to be honored this week. So there wasn't much written about what happened, and we don't know, but we do know one thing, and that's unfortunately Franco Harris passed away yesterday at 72.
Yeah, it's, you've seen the film and the clip a million times. I mean, it's obviously before my time, but just anytime there's kind of a like one of those Hail Marys or anything, right, it's always goes back to that play. Really, maybe change the course of the NFL. It's got that play kind of gave the NFL a huge boost. And kind of sent it into the stratosphere as it is. Now it is obviously the biggest thing on the planet, basically. But it's obviously sad anytime somebody dies like that. You see a lot of memorial stuff, and we'll see that play. But obviously he was more than that play. I think he's remembered for that, but he was a very good player for the rest of his career as well. So much more than that the one play, obviously.
And a point of personal privilege here. Over the years, I can honestly tell you that one of the nicest people in sports in general, but certainly in football, was Franco Harris. He was always willing to stop and chat for a few minutes. If you wanted him on a broadcast, he was more than happy to do it. I can't fathom how many autographs he stood and signed over the years in airports and, just walking out to his car. And, it's genuinely pleasant to see when you see someone who's achieved fame that they handle it with grace and dignity. And sometimes that works and sometimes not so much. I know we've been around people who have accomplished much, and sometimes they're wonderful folks and sometimes they're jerks. In the case of Franco Harris, not the case. He was a wonderful man, a pleasant person, and someone who seemingly had time for everyone. So he will be missed. And ironically, as I said before, they were about to enshrine him into the Steelers Circle of Fame. I don't know why that took so long. But anyway, that'll happen this week in Pittsburgh, Oakland, Pittsburgh on Christmas Eve, I think. Anyway, sad beginning, but life goes on, and rest in peace, Franco Harris. We hope that his family gets some peace and quiet from the fans leaving them alone just to mourn on their own. So Franco Harris dead at 72. We don't much than that, but we'll find out, I'm sure, over the coming days. The Mets grab Carlos Correa for $3.5 340. There's so much money, it's hard for me to pronounce. It's a 12-year deal at $315 million, 12 years. That was one where he was headed to the Giants. So something happened there at the last minute for the Mets to come in and take it.
Something with a physical. They're reporting that there was a red flag when he took his physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting because an undisclosed medical concern arose, and the Giants said, "Whoa, 13 years.
Yeah,
is a lot."
They
said, "All right, well, we'll take him for 12 years." But I know the Mets and Steve Cohen are trying to build something. Obviously they're talking about a difference of opinion in the medical evaluation. So we'll kind of see what it is. But obviously with a 12-year deal, even if he has to sit out a couple months, maybe he has to have surgery now and he's out for 3 or 4 months or something like that. It's it's not really of concern. I think it's they're trying to build and trying to win titles there. So the problem with the Mets is it's not really a problem, but every year the Mets just to win the division is going to be hard enough, let alone to win the National League, let alone to win a World Series, because the Phillies are spending money like crazy, and the Braves are obviously the champion from 2021. So for the Mets to catch those teams now, maybe that's what they're going to have to do. Make some signings like this.
Well, I mean, look, I've been around a number of general managers, and when they look at the medical side and say, okay, do we take a chance? And there you go. Happy holidays to you too, Bill. It's always good to have you in the house. Let's move on with our headlines. The Suns and the Mercury. Double deal, $4 billion to Matt Isaba. The Suns and the Mercury going to Matt, and quite a bit going on there. The Suns are a good franchise. Interestingly enough, the franchise was established by Dionne Warwick, Andy Williams, and a group of stars put together by a longtime friend of mine who passed away a couple years ago, Shelley Saltman. And so the Suns were actually a team that was built by TV and music, and then was sold to Jerry Colangelo later on, and has been a good franchise as far as drawing and everything else in the NBA. So new ownership in the Valley of the Sun. Yesterday, millions jammed Buenos Aires streets to celebrate the World Cup, and we saw pictures of that. Quite a few folks. They said they were estimating millions in there, and it certainly, I wasn't counting, but there was certainly seemed like if there was a lot.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you can't even probably fathom how many people were there. Just mind-boggling numbers. So the bus had to be, they had to put the people on the helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really, really crazy stuff there. So yeah, it's obviously the first time they won it in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I knew there was going to be a lot of people there, but it was a little bit crazy.
It was a nice thing. More than 25 million people watched the World Cup final here in the U.S. on Fox and Telemundo, which is pretty good indication that soccer is finding, the audiences. Sunday's audience of a combined was 31% of an increase over the 2018 final, which averaged 17.83 million on Fox and Telemundo. That actually trails the 26.7 million that was tuned in for the 2015 women's final in the U.S. Cup. They beat in the World Cup, Japan 5-2. Now remember, that game was airing in prime time because it was played in Canada. So I would think, Sean, that that number that we saw, that 25 million, is going to be bumped up probably within the next 48 hours, when they really have an opportunity to check all the numbers, which of course means streaming and otherwise. So my guess is that those numbers are going to go up. By the weekend, we'll have another revised number that's going to take us north of 26.
Yeah, the streaming is up, a lot, and the numbers around the world are,
off the charts.
Yeah, let me see what they're talking about here for the world.
And one last little quick TV headline: YouTube TV becomes the front runner for Sunday Ticket. It's going to be YouTube, or it's going to be Amazon. My guess is it will be YouTube. They'll probably announce that deal sometime next week, before the first of the year, perhaps.
Yeah.
So, there are headlines for this morning.
They said 3.575 billion people, I guess, watched something about the final. Maybe it's something crazy, some crazy number. Yeah, it's and then this YouTube thing. And then World Cup finals showed why it's the best sport in the world. Foxy, yes, 100%. Yeah, it's the YouTube deal. Everything's going to streaming, so I mean, it's just the way it's going to be now. So you need to get streaming services. Cable is basically going away. It's becoming more. I think the thing with TV is now it's I like how you can pick your packages.
Right.
TV, but like if I pay for, I don't want to pay for FiOS if I'm only watching Discovery Science and History Channel and sports channels. Like, why am I paying for the Hallmark Channel? And why am I paying for HBO? And why am I paying for this? Like, so I think
the 17 Discovery channels you're not watching.
Yeah, exactly. Hey Diggs, how's it going? Thanks for watching.
Good to see you, Diggs. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, Foxy. Hey, and Bill posted there. Bill, I love the Brighton game today. You saw how those games went yesterday with the. We'll go through those. If you saw how those games went yesterday, Leicester, MK Dons 3-0. It was 2-0 in the first 29 minutes. Southampton scraped by. Wolves, scraped by. They scored, they scored a penalty and then they scored in added time, but it was 0-0 for 77 minutes. They covered the over 2.5, which we talked about. Today, once again, I saw Charlton play in the first round against PSG. They really, or not PSG, QPR. They should have been out. They didn't. So they'll play. They'll host Brighton and Hove. Brighton's very good. Brighton should win that game easily against the League One team. Blackburn, Nottingham, they're about the same. Nottingham Forest's roster is actually probably better, but that's kind of a tough game to pick there. I would probably stay away from that. If I had to play a game, Nottingham Forest there. Brighton's minus 375, so you probably got to lay minus 1.5. I don't know any. I couldn't tell you about the United lineup until I saw. Blackburn. Yeah, I would wait to see the lineup because they could try to get out and push to the Premier League, or Nottingham Forest, same thing. It's probably not a terrible play there. All the small teams playing at home, Forest, Brighton, and Burnley should get through. Foxy. Good job, Foxy. Small team. Although I hope you didn't take Newcastle yesterday on the -1.5. They had to have Bournemouth had to throw the ball in their own net for you to win the game. But yeah, it's there's some interesting games. There's also a championship game today. Coventry City and West Brom. West Brom. Obviously, once again, when we talk about this, there's going to be games coming. Blackburn's third in that league. West Brom struggling down in 16th. And where is Sheffield? Sheffield United won yesterday, or won Monday. Sorry, Coventry City they're down near they're actually in 14th. So yeah, I'd probably stay away from that game. Foxy. But yeah, there's some, and then you got all the if you're a big Copa del Rey fan, you got 12 games today. I mean, there's 12 matches today starting at 1:00, and you got a lot of the lower league teams playing. But if you looked at yesterday, if you watched the scores from yesterday, I'm not sure if anybody kind of went through, and I was focused on the other games. If you kind of went through, and let me share my screen here.
PSG is playing this afternoon against a lower division team.
Yeah, yep, yeah, they're playing I
think it's a 3:00 game.
Scrimmage. Yeah, you see here, all the teams on the road except for Miranda's. This is two lower division teams, but Getafe won, Elche won, Villarreal won in extra time, Mallorca won, Bilbao won 1-0. So if you're trying to lay these, you got to lay, a goal and a half or 2 goals here. It's probably not really worth it. Yeah, Bill, I just know take the French teams, PSG. I don't even know who's playing today. Here, Barcelona never loses until the final. I know Arsenal is pretty good. Olympique Lyonnais is pretty good. So, I don't know the lines on them, Bill, but those will be the teams I would take. I don't even know if I can see those. Sometimes I can see them, sometimes I can't. They don't have the Women's World Cup lines up on my VAR in the League Cup. Still nearly cost us yesterday with a disallowed goal. Yeah, I don't. This is kind of a thing that goes to, you can't have it at, just the Premier League grounds. Like, obviously, the Premier League grounds have it, and some of the lower league grounds don't have it. But, at this, I don't know, at some point, you got to put VAR in the championship. The championship those games are too important for these clubs to not have it. And, if you have VAR in the championship, you really should have it in League One. I think the FA is got enough money that they should have these abilities to every game is streamed now. So you have cameras, although you don't have cameras, you might not have cameras following the offsides and all that stuff. But, I think at this point, it's a big enough business that you might need to do that. Like, I think if you're going to have VAR, then you should have it.
Yeah, but VAR is, from a technical standpoint, VAR is not unlike Wimbledon or any of the others where it's a camera strictly on the lines, right? So it's not even part of the television broadcast. In other words, you would establish the cameras and put them in place, and basically They're not part of any telecast. They're simply there to decide whether you're offsides or not offside.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it for, they can use it for, to determine penalties and stuff. But,
Right.
At the very minimum, you should have these offside cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So at least you have those in play because, you can't, you can't have, it's kind of ridiculous that you don't have VAR
Mm-hmm.
in this tournament when, that by the time you get to the quarterfinals and semifinals, it's going to be all Premier League teams.
Right.
VAR comes in the semifinals. So you play the whole tournament without it. And then all of a sudden in the semifinals, they say, we're going to use it. Well,
Right.
It's ridiculous. Like, just either they should either do it or don't. And they should do it, obviously, but you can't, I don't understand why they changed the rules for these tournaments. Like, what, Foxy, I don't know. I feel like there's no replays this year. Because of the I guess they're still maybe trying to do them. They've set to be scrapped on a case-by-case basis from third round, with teams in Europe likely to be awarded one-off ties. I think get rid of the replays. I know we talk about this sometimes, and it helps the lower league teams because they make money, but you can't have. You're already playing too many games. You can't have a replay and just go to penalties. And I also in the League Cup, it goes right to penalties. There's no extra time. Like, I don't have a problem with the FA Cup tie going to extra time and then penalty. I think extra time is good. It's only an extra 30 minutes. But, if you're going to get rid of, scrap replays and just say, look, we're going to go to extra time and then we're going to have a winner in that round. No replays. Just you have to have a winner. There's too many games coming up in this. They're already playing games in Champions League weeks, which you're not really supposed to be doing. So, you got the Arsenal City tie on the same day as I'm trying to watch Champions League. I mean, that's I think that's a big Champions League day as well. On February 15th.
Yeah, they're stuffing a lot of games together.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's because of the, obviously the World Cup and
sure.
the week before and the week after. January, February is always pretty crazy anyway because they add in all those, the FA Cup and now you got an extra round of the League Cup in January. So teams are used to doing it. Now you're playing all these extra games. The fixtures that you were doing in the midweek fixtures you were playing in December,
right.
For the festive fixtures are now going to be,
pushed off into
January and February, and you got the midweek games in early March. So April, there's going to be games being played all over the place. So once again, if you're a big fan, the only positive for replays is that it brings a lot of money for the smaller teams. Yeah, 100%, Foxy. I think maybe they have to figure out a way to maybe give them. I don't know, if you get to extra time, you give them a bonus or something like that. So,
well, like an incentive deal.
Yeah, I know they sometimes they'll it is big, if they get a draw, at home or something as a smaller team, and then they have to go play the replays at the other place. So, they'll go play at, Newcastle that has like 57,000 and, they split the gate. So, they get half that money. And it's going to be on TV because the replays, there's not that many replays. So it's a TV match. So they'll get the TV money as well. So that, that money will kind of boost the team. But, maybe the FA has to figure out, look, this isn't the year. We'll give you some money anyway or something like that. If you get to the third round, we'll give you extra money. If you get to the fourth round, we'll give you extra money.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah. Got to do something. You can't, I just don't think you can play. You already got to play right now. Most of these teams have only played 14 games. Some have played 15 games. So, you have, 24 games left that you're going to play. And, when you remember, there's a 2-week break in March for the Euro qualifying. So you're playing all these games and the FA Cup and the League Cup and teams, you got teams in Europe, the 4 Champions League teams. I guess there's 4, and Arsenal, West Ham, and United are still in Europe. So, there's 7 teams that are going to be playing European games as well. So, you have to kind of, I don't know. There's too many There's if you keep just saying, hey, we're going to put these extra games, I think maybe this year is a way you can find it and maybe think of something different.
Right. And the MLS begins in February.
Yeah, I think that, and when the Sounders start soon, right? You said with the
yeah, they've got the Cup event coming up. I think you said March, though, didn't you?
Oh, that's the Club World Cup will be in February, and but the CONCACAF Champions League starts. There's 4. There's actually 5 MLS teams because Vancouver is in. Austin, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Orlando City, Vancouver, and Seattle should be in because they're the defending champions, but they didn't get through to the round of 16. So that starts March. Round of 16 is March 9th, March 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 14th and 16th. Quarterfinals are 4th and 6th. Semifinals are the 25th and 27th.
Where are they playing?
What's that?
Where are they playing?
Oh, it's home and home. So
it's home and home. Okay.
Yeah. So Austin has Violette from Haiti. Orlando City has UANL Tigres. That'll be tough. Vancouver has Real España. LAFC has Alajuelense, and Philadelphia has Valencia. So Philadelphia and LAFC could meet in the semifinals. Last year, remember there was the champion was from it was Seattle. So
right. Moving into back to the Premier League for a little while. What's gonna? I mean, I know you're getting ready to jump into United. What's the situation for United going into the first of the 2 stretch runs here? I mean, the first stretch run is to finish out the first 15, and then you come back and do it all over again. But what do they have to do, and what can they do to become more competitive?
I mean, they're going to get new owners, so that's going to help. I mean, it's
but that's not going to happen. This season.
Oh, it's going to happen pretty soon. It's apparently there's a lot of they want it done in the first quarter of 2023. So there's a lot of different stories going around that there's funds available to buy players. So just a little speculation here. If the funds are there, obviously maybe something's already agreed or whatever. They don't want to announce it till next quarter, whatever. Just a lot of speculation now, but I think they just got to get, the teams back. I mean, they're right. When you look at the table, they're 3 points behind Tottenham, and 4 points behind Newcastle, the game in hand. You know, 6 points behind City. You know, they just have to, you know, get their play. They need a goal scorer, 100%. You know, obviously they're going to sign somebody because Ronaldo's off the books for like crazy money. So there's Diggs. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Diggs. Watching us on Twitch. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, Diggs. Hey, if you got any kind of plays for today, let me. Do you like them today? Look, until I see the lineup, Bill. I read something about Burnley, and they're not really concerned about this game today. So Vincent Company, you know, let me see what they say for the lineups here. It's kind of said maybe they are going to, you know, focus on the championship and getting back into the, championship. Burnley's, you know, actually in pretty decent form. I watched one of their games during the World Cup. They played pretty well. You know, I just don't know who's going to play for Manchester United. You know, De Gea is going to be in goal. You know, maybe it's Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, Malacia, McTominay, Eriksson. You know, Garnacho probably plays. Anthony Martial probably plays. I think they should have enough to get through, but you know, until I kind of see what the lineup is, I would probably maybe.
Bruno Fernandes is out, according to Bill.
Yeah, Bill, I can't imagine anybody, like, he might be on the bench, but none of obviously Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez are going to miss probably next week as well. You know, Martinez 100% is because he's still in Argentina. You know, we'll see. I would probably wait. You know, I like that Brighton game a little bit better. I like that Brighton game a lot better. But Manchester United should win the game. I mean, if you watched the games yesterday, but you know, I just don't know with their lineup if they have to play some of those young kids. You know, I watched them play in those friendlies, and they weren't like great, but they were playing a lot of the younger kids again. But you know, if Garnacho and Martial and somebody like that, you know, if they have a decent attack, you know, they should probably score some goals. So the Brighton is probably the game I would key on today.
I just actually spoke earlier today with someone in Brighton, and they were telling me that the weather is not too bad.
So, yeah, I think the weather's been all right over there. Last week it was really cold and snowing and stuff, but yeah, I think it'll be all right.
No, you got the seaside there in Brighton, so.
Yeah, and you know, Foxy, there's some. It's interesting because you know, a lot of these games in the League Cup, if you see, they've had to shut some stands down because of the strikes. You know, obviously Burnley is a coach ride to Manchester. It's a 50. I've been to games there. It's not a very far ride. Obviously, it's almost part of Lancashire, but they've had to shut some of it because of the services are down. You know, the strikes and the there's general strikes all over the place between a lot of the services, ambulance services and police. And you know, I think police are all right, but you know, I know the
transportation,
trains aren't running, and there's been a lot of people complaining about that, and then also a lot of people supporting them, obviously, because you know it's they need a pay rise and stuff. So yeah, but Bill, you know, I would wait to see. You know, if Manchester United has a pretty strong lineup, I think. Yeah, Foxy, 100%. I mean, I would think Vincent Kompany. You know, I read Vincent Kompany is not prioritizing this cup. I mean, they're trying to get back. You know, they're leading the championship right now. They need to be back in the Premier League. You know, they could rest some players. They have a lot of games coming up as well. United should win. You know, hopefully it's, you know, relatively straightforward. But you watched those games yesterday, and they were a little bit of a battle for thing. It's a little rivalry game and stuff like that. But it's they. I would think they'll win, but when you start looking at minus 400 and stuff for these games, and you have to win by.
Well, nothing is ever as easy as it looks.
Yeah, so it's minus 250. Yeah, minus one. I mean, you to get them at minus 1.5, Bill is basically plus money. So they should win by 2 goals, but I would wait to see the lineup. I think Brighton against Charlton is
that's an early afternoon game here today.
At 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think United plays at 3. What are the other games today? That's the TV game. Blackburn, Nottingham Forest, and Charlton Athletic, Brighton, and Hove kick off at 2:45. So listen, if you're betting these games, just remember those games start 15 minutes earlier. It'll be. I like, I watched. I don't know if you saw the setup I had. Let's see if I can post a. Let me see if I can send it to my. Send it to my computer here. Let's see if I can get that to show you my my little League Cup setup. Everything, and you gotta download everything and blah blah blah. Share screen window. Here we go. So here's my setup yesterday. If you can see that, there's my League Cup setup there. So
you look like you're watching TV at Best Buy.
Yeah. I know Foxy likes those United flags in the background and stuff like that. McAllister's not playing. I would think. I would think Foxy. They're gonna have. I saw Charlton play. They should have been out. Obviously, League One team. Casado's going to play probably. He's very good. Lamptey, Lewis Dunk, Estupinian, Casado, Gilmore, Trossard. If those guys all play, I think it's a pretty easy win for him. We'll see. I can't imagine. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit rusty, but Foxy, Gustavo Scarpa from Palmeiras, one of their 18,000 signings today. It's been crazy. But yeah, look, that's Bill. I would check that. If Forrest plays, I mean, they have so many good Lingard. They have so many guys they signed. If they play a decent strength team in that game today, I would think they're probably at plus money, a pretty good play. Foxy obviously says, watch out for the Scarpa. They have some really good players. If they go full strength, I think it'll be pretty interesting. But, just between that and the Copa del Rey, there's a lot of games on today. And, I know there's some bowl games coming up as well. So, Bill, I know you've been, having some luck with those bowl games. So,
got Thursday night football tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, that's an interesting game because, if they're both 7-7, obviously,
right.
But Jacksonville wins that game, I think they win the division. I think if Jacksonville wins tomorrow, they'll win the division and they'll go to the playoffs. And, you might have to say that the coach of the year.
I'm not necessarily a fan of Jacksonville. However, that being said, anything to put some shade on Urban Meyer is okay with me. So.
Man, that guy, man, he's just like, it's embarrassing what that guy did last year with that, he looks, every day that goes by, that guy looks worse and worse. It's crazy. Yeah. Bill, that's interesting. Let me see what you got there. Because, I just don't know if Charlton, they were really they struggled to beat QPR in that first round. Look, they're in the third, quarterfinal, or what is it, round of 16 now. So, Brighton win to nil is plus money. I might take a shot on that. It could be 1-0. That might actually be better than maybe going 1.5. I do like 1.5 though, but yeah, I think that could be a pretty good way to play that, Bill. I don't know what Foxy thinks, but yeah, there's just a lot of these games today that are very interesting. And but yeah, this Jacksonville Jets game, I don't know who's going to play quarterback for the Jets, but this Jacksonville team is on. It's the same thing with the Detroit Lions now. I mean,
yeah,
I don't, between the Lions and the Jags, I mean, these teams, when you start to look at some of these teams and the roles they're on right now, it's hard to, go against them. Jacksonville's won. They're 6-8 now. I think they've won 4 of 6. They lost to the Lions and Chiefs, but that was after losing 5 in a row. But yeah, Jacksonville, the Lions to me are the most intriguing team in the league right now, because they've won 6 out of 7, and that was after a tough loss to the Dolphins. They lost 48-45 to the Seahawks. I mean, they could be 9-5 right now. I mean, I think they're a very good team, and they have the Panthers, the Bears, and the Packers. So, they could finish 10-7 and make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, that guy's 100% the coach of the year. It's just no way.
I gotta say that the trade for Matt Stafford. If you look at what Jared Goff is doing in Detroit, you're sitting there in Los Angeles going, did we make a smart move here? Or did we really screw this up?
Yeah, yep.
Because they not only got Jared Goff, they got draft choices.
Yep.
So, it's crazy. But, it definitely going to be a fun game tomorrow night. There's a lot of teams in that 7-6, area. If you look at the NFC South, where all of the teams in the South, all 4 of them are under 500. 500 may win the division. Breaking 500, is in 9-8.
Yeah, I don't think that division gets to 500 to win it. I think it's under 500.
Well, there's 3 games left, and
they all
Tampa Bay has to travel, and it's not going to be easy.
I don't think Tampa Bay beats the Cardinals on the road on Christmas. I don't think they win all 3 of those games. Is basically what I'm trying to say. At the against the Panthers or at the Falcons, I just think they finish 7-10 or 8.
If they finish 7-10, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, or 8-9. 8-9 may win the division, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Because doing the Buccaneers pregame shows, I can personally tell you that it's there's a lot of things that are fun. That is not one of them. Trying to make up excuses for what's going on the field is. How about this? The Bengals score 34 points, right? Score 34 points and gain less than 200 yards in doing it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's just nuts. It's like, you can't be serious. But There it is. Bill just made sure it's a Brighton team that starts Sanchez in goal.
Lewis Duncan defense, Moises Caicedo. Yeah, if Caicedo plays and Estupinian plays, the guys from the Ecuador team, Trossard plays, Gross. If they play, it's a strong team. Even without McAllister, they should win that relatively easy. I'm not. I don't think Charles.
Where can we see the Brighton game?
Everything's on ESPN Plus here.
Okay, it's on ESPN Plus today.
Yeah, they have every game, so they'll be able to see every game there.
Because I know on the other side, it's shoot, what was I going to say? It's ESPN Plus, and then tomorrow I was just perusing NBC, and there's a ton of Premier League games tomorrow.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, it's you got the 7:30, 10, 12:30. I love those when they have these extra windows. They experimented during I don't know if it was during COVID or after COVID where they spread the games out. I think it was after, and they had that extra window on Saturdays. To me, instead of I like Friday night football and Monday night football and stuff like that. It's always good, but if you put that extra game on Saturday afternoon here at 3:00, which is 8:00 on Saturday nights, first of all, over there, it's Saturday night, so everybody's all geared up to go out anyway. But it's just I can sit there and watch a game on Saturday sometimes more than I can on Friday afternoon or something like this. So I always like those late afternoon Saturday games. So, but now you can watch anything you can watch when you get home and stuff. So,
well, it gives you something to definitely do.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, anything else you want to get to today?
That's about it.
Okay. Well, any final questions from the gang out there? Bring friends tomorrow. We'll have. Don't forget, we're going to start doing some fun watch parties here in the not too distant future. So be sure to check us out whenever you can, because we definitely want you to be with us and bring friends.
That's right.
And if you don't have friends, that's all right. We'll make friends for you.
That's right.
All right, guys. Sean, have a great day, my friend, and we will be back 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll have some fun tomorrow and talk about tomorrow night's game, and we'll see how it works out, but it should be a lot of fun. Everybody have a great day, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.